listening to this on First Take and got my blood up. Legit got my blood up. Talking about all-time power forwards. Anthony Davis had an amazing game last night. He's had several amazing games. New Orleans Pelicans are now up 3-0, improbably, on the Portland Trail Blazers. They won 119-102 last night, and Anthony Davis went off again for 28 points on 11 of 18 shooting. He's great, okay? He's awesome. Anthony Davis is awesome. He's not second best power forward of all time awesome. Right, First Take? Take it away, Bubba.
I'm not about career value or anything like that. Right now, this Anthony Davis we've seen, it's not like he's been in the league 1 or 2 years. He's been around for a minute now. Would you take the best version of Charles Barkley versus Anthony Davis right now? No. Who do you think is better? I take this AD. Would you take the best version of Karl Malone over this AD?
No.
Let's leave Tim Duncan out of this. I'm not saying he's better than Duncan at his best. Kevin McHale or AD?
That's not fair.
You're taking AD over Barkley and Malone.
I just finished
You
saying.
won't answer McHale.
No.
What about Garnett?
I answered AD. I said I'd take him over everybody.
Including Duncan?
I said, well, not Duncan. But what I'm saying to you...
That's where I am
But
with
what
it.
I'm saying to you is that the old school cats get upset at that.
I respect that.
Well, that's all I'm saying.
All I'm saying, I respect
Right.
that. I'm just saying, think of what we're saying. If you take him as a power forward, you and I are both here saying that the only one in history that we take over him is Tim Duncan right now.
Oh, my gosh. I heard Max, by the way, use the "in a minute" there. Been around for a minute. And he has been around for a minute, 6 or 7 years. Okay. All right, let's take a breather here. Anthony Davis is great. He's absolutely amazing. Can we just do enough throat clearing here to satisfy the critics? He's the best 4 in the game today. He's the best 4 or 5? Maybe even include the 5s? I mean, Anthony Davis, Joel Embiid, there's your debate, and it's probably Anthony Davis over Joel Embiid right now. If you're just picking between 4s and 5s, you'd probably go Davis over Embiid. That's how great Davis is. But let's just tap the brakes one moment before we start casting him among the all-times. Now, any discussion of all-time power forwards, any discussion whatsoever, that doesn't even have the decency to mention the guy who has scored over 30,000 points, who changed the position and how it's played, who almost single-handedly, I don't know that he had a single other all-star on his team as he did it, drug the Dallas Mavericks to an NBA championship. Any list of power forwards that can rattle off 6 names and not mention Dirk Nowitzki, I'm done with. You're just dismissible. Dismissible. Done. It's impossible to take seriously. Can't mention Dirk Nowitzki. Now, in listening to that, I don't think Max Kellerman is rattling off because he says career value. I don't think he's rattling off his greatest power forwards of all time. Because surely a guy who has won, how many playoff games has Anthony Davis won in his career? He's won 0 series. He's about to win his first series, his first playoff series in his career, 7 years into his career. His first. So what's he at, like 5 games? 5 playoff games in his career, maybe? Something like that? How many wins? These are his first wins, right? I don't know. Answer that for me later, because it doesn't matter.
They are. He got swept.
It's 0 series. What you got, Cerruti?
They are. He got swept by the Warriors in his first playoff
Swept.
appearance 2 years ago.
All right, so these are his first 3 wins. And we're talking about all time. Now, I think Max, what he's doing is saying, similar to the Aaron Rodgers argument, his talent, him at his career peak, this is where I would take him. And you would take him, both Max and Stephen A., below Duncan, above KG, above Kevin McHale, above Karl Malone, above Charles Barkley. That's where they placed him. And all I would say is first of all, Dirk belongs in there. Obviously, like career-wise, ranking, number 2, right after Duncan, number 2. Can't hear much more about it. Maybe a debate with Karl Malone, but right there. 2, 3, Malone, Dirk, right there, right after Duncan. But you can't tell me that you can also put him past these other guys, like Dirk again, at their career peaks when they took their teams to championship-level heights. KG, Dirk, Malone to several series. NBA Finals. Didn't win it because he ran against Jordan. But at some point, achievement, not just wowing you on the court. And Anthony Davis wows you on the court. That has to matter. That has to factor in. Am I nuts, Cerruti? Or am I right? I'm right.
I think you're right, but he's not the big they were talking about. They were clearly talking about more like back to the basket, traditional bigs, and Dirk is not that. Dirk is more in the Kevin Durant role, and you wouldn't consider him a forward. I know he is a power forward, so I get why they like excluded him from the list. But he is a top.
Oh.
He should have been on that power forwards list.
Dirk should have. I don't agree with, by the way, how you're carving him out. I mean,
well, Dirk and Anthony
mentioned.
Davis don't have a ton in common. I mean, Dirk was never a defensive player. Dirk was a better shooter. I think Anthony Davis his game is much more well-rounded. He's probably a better overall player, but you're right. He doesn't have the accolades that Dirk has.
These tall guys that can shoot, that face up the basket, I truly think they're here today because Dirk was where he was 10, 15 years ago. That's how we got here. That's where it was. And to ignore that, you're ignoring how the game changed.